Right, question 26. What we have here is a, oh, sorry, my pen isn't working. Let's just fix that. So what we have here is Health Authority has decided to adopt activity-based costing. Cost pools are estimated to be 920,400, with a total of 1.534 million blood tests. So we want to discuss and see what happens. So basically, the driver, if you call, of course, are these blood tests. These drivers are the cost drivers causing this. So technically, I suppose one blood test is 920,400 divided by 1,534,000, right? Which means, therefore, that if I'm interested in 80,000 blood tests, I need to now multiply all of this by 80,000. So 920 over this times 80,000 gives you 48,000. Actually, yes, I believe gives you just, yes, gives you 48,000. Gives you 48,000. So the answer here is B. Right, let's look at question 27. This is the high-low method. It's quite a rough method for extrapolating or finding it. We find, again, if you've been working through the progress review as in test, you should be. Take the highest and the lowest and the highest units to discuss this. So you have 26 donations. I'll put 26 here. And then you have 38. Then you have a total cost when it's 26 of 1820, and you have a total cost here of 2462. So the question here is, whenever this have these donations occur, what is the value of what is the cost of that donation at one? So in effect, we're really saying, well, 2462 minus 1820 divided by 38 minus 26. Yes, 2462 minus 1820 is equal to 642 divided by 38 minus 26, and that's 12. So 642 divided by 12 is the variable cost. So the variable cost is £53.50, so it's either B or D. We're halfway through. So we just pick one of them. We could pick the 26 or the 38. I'll pick the 38 this time. So you have 38 donations at a variable cost of £53.50 with a total cost of 2,462. So 38 times £53.50 is 2,033. So that's the total variable cost, and the total fixed cost is 2462. So minus 2462, and therefore you have a fixed cost of 429, and that takes us to B. That takes us to B. Let's look at question 28. So question 28 says that you have we're using ABC. You have a cost pool estimated to be 1.35 million with the total of 7,500 motor services. So again, first is just to find what it is for one motor service, 1350000 divided by the 7,500, and that's £180 per service. So you have 30 services, right? So times 30, and that's 5,400. Your answer there is C. Your answer there is C. Right, this is learning curves, and you must have watched my video on learning curves. There are additional videos within the material itself on learning curves. Make sure you're happy. So the point here is that when we make the first unit, it takes a total of 17 minutes, but it also is the average. Of course it is, right? Because you have 17 minutes. This is the total to make the first unit. And it says it's a learning factor of 85%. So this learning factor is to do with averages, right? It's saying that every time the units double, the average time is this learning factor times the previous time. So the average learning time. So here I have 17 times 85%, and that's 17 times 0.85, right? So 17 times 0.85 is 14. The average time for 2 units is 14.45. That's the average time. When I double this again, if you like, double this again to 4, I now have again this 14.45 times 0.85, right? It's always 0.85, and here I have the average time to make 4 units is 12.2825. So I'll just circle that. These are the numbers I need. And when I double that again, I have this figure, 12.2825 again times 85%. So what we're saying is that the average time keeps falling by this, well, keeps falling to the learning factor times what it was previously, right? So you now have 12.2825 times 0.85, and then you have 10.44. So this is the average time to make each of those units. So the question is saying how many minutes would it take to make the first 8 units, which is really asking what is the total time to make 8 units. So you have 10.44 times 8, and therefore you have 83.52. You have 83.52 as your answer there. And finally, in this batch of questions, we're asking ourselves, we know the total cost is equal to fixed costs plus variable cost. And we know the boundaries for this. We know that total costs are based on, well, the fixed costs we use, if we were looking at calculating this using the equations, we know that A is equal to the fixed cost and B is equal to the variable cost per unit. And that's what you have here. So it's £6.20 per unit in terms of variable cost, and that's the total cost. So what would the company predict if the total was 90? Well, we have fixed costs, of course, which are 246 plus £6.20 times the number of units, 90. Of course, I mean, I'm just adding telling you to multiply those together first. So 6.2 times 90 is 558, and then add on the 246, and you get 804. 804. So your answer is C. And that brings us to the end of those series of questions.